what you got. Show them how you get up in your bag. Show them that swag. What you see is what you get. When I look in the mirror, I'm looking like a man. Like we playing tag bad, I'm the top pick. Show them what you're working with. Break the circuit, be a hit. Go ahead and make them sit. If you gotta hate it, then your purpose is equipped. Tell them catch you later, cause you serving up some grits. Meaning hot with the drip when I drop in the mix. The proof is in the pudding. Show them how you do it. They do it like they shouldn't. You don't need to brag, cause your competition couldn't. You don't need to boast, cause the proof is in the pudding. Show them that swag. Show them that swag. Show them that swag. Show them that swag. Show them what you got. Show them how you get up in your bag. Show them that swag.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. My name is Stevie. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. For those of you who do not know, I'm part of the customer success team. Today, we're going to be covering achieving customer success, pro tips for going above and beyond. So each of us is just going to explain a little bit about our background. I'll go first. So before starting at PhotoDay, I actually worked for a volume sports studio in North Georgia here. So the cool thing is they actually converted from paper forms to using an online platform when I worked there. And I primarily worked on the sales and customer service side of the business. So I used my experience from that to advise people on customer service here at PhotoDay, since I have a lot of experience handling a similar kind of customer base as you guys do. And now I'll hand it over to Justin and Austin to introduce themselves as well.
Hello. Obviously, I'm Justin. I actually, before PhotoDay, was a PhotoDay user. I worked at a studio servicing over 200 schools. So I've kind of seen every situation possible. We did yearbook headshots, we did sports, graduations, seniors, any other events that come with school photography. We were always there to photograph it. I actually started in the field as a photographer. I became lead photographer, so I was kind of in charge of day of stuff. And then I quickly transitioned to the main office and being in charge of all of the quality of images coming in from all of our different photographers. I also managed all of our special service items that we did for schools. So anytime they reached out for something special, that was kind of on me to get that processed. And then I was also in charge of graduation production. So I collected all the images from all of our different events. I uploaded them. I did editing. I did all of the things. I published them. I did marketing, and then all of the customer service that comes with that too. So I kind of have a wide range of knowledge from every piece of the way.
Very cool.
Well, I'm Austin. I have been in the photography industry my entire working career. I started off at a high volume photography company when I was 16, and I worked there for 10 years. Mm-hmm. So I was a photographer and then assistant manager. And then I was a studio manager for 2 different studios for a little bit. And then I switched over to the school and sports side, and that's where I scheduled picture days, and I would get like the subject data from the secretaries and clean all of that. And since I knew that I came from studios and could photograph, sometimes I would get a call at 5 a.m. when a photographer was broken down and have to go photograph at a school for the day. But then I started doing my own thing. And then I found PhotoDay, and now all of us as studio success managers, we get to help you set up. We analyze your price sheets and help you with your workflow. And I just think it's cool that everybody on this team, like we all come from different backgrounds. So we'll look at your account, we'll talk about it with everybody or with our team. And then that combined with the data that we have, I think it gives us the ability to truly strategize and come up with like a good game plan for you guys.
Totally. I think it's super cool that we all have like a different sort of vibe of experience, and we bring it together to make one superhuman experience. So, but yeah, at PhotoDay, we also value the customer success and the customer experience part of things as well. It's really, really important to us. So we also put some of these tips and tricks into action as a company. that we're going to share with you guys today. Now, one piece of housekeeping that I always have to go over before we actually jump in. Be sure to leave questions in the Q&A section of the chat if you guys are able, and then at the end we'll answer those on the webinar. Now, we do have a couple of discussion questions that we're going to ask along the way, so please chime in the regular chat and answer those so that we can share all that in the webinar as well. So, all right, let's jump right in.
Okay, so we have customer success and customer experience. Both of these things are super important to just your business as a whole. They are different, so it is good to think about them in different aspects, but they do matter together. So the customer success end of it is really all about helping your clients achieve their goals. So if you want to think about it in the terms of that is your order being placed, that could be the success end of it. It could even be with organizations. So signing on a new school or a league, that would also be the goal or the success of your process. Leading up to that success or the goals is going to be the customer experience. So that really helps get you to that success point. The whole experience from the very beginning to end. And then even afterwards, so after orders are placed or after picture day, stuff like that, all of that combined really helps improve or at least get to that goal of orders or new leagues, all of that. Oftentimes we concentrate heavily on the success aspect of our business. So when we notice a decline in orders, our instinct is to dedicate time to maybe tweaking your price sheet or building new packages to see if customers are attracted to that. A lot of times we don't really think about maybe making adjustments on the experience. Sometimes that experience itself could really enhance the overall experience leading up to the orders or new clients. So making those adjustments sometimes could help without even needing to alter your price sheet or come up with new products or new packages or stuff like that. So it's good to think about the experience part of it too.
For sure. So I want to talk about organizations, but before I do that, I just want to start with a question. So get your keyboards ready. How far in advance do you guys typically communicate with your schools and organizations before picture day? And then kind of a follow-up to that would be, does it change if it's a group job or versus a private job?
Sweet.
So we'll let those come in and read them here in a second. But with organizations, this is going to be your schools, your leagues, your dance studio. It really boils down to being proactive, and I think communication is probably one of the most important parts. Did anybody? We don't have any yet, so we'll keep going. But I would say probably about 4 weeks out is when you need to get your subject data for a private gallery. And that gives you enough time if they give you some crazy looking data that you need to clean up, or say the secretary just forgets and you need to ask them again, it gives you time to still get that in. And then
Tracy said 2 to 3 weeks with advance pay. So
2 to 3 weeks. Okay. Ideally 30 days. That's a good one too.
Very cool.
2 weeks out, that's when your picture day flyer should be sent. If you're using advance pay, maybe switch it then, and then give the schools some graphics. So maybe like a social media graphic saying, hey, picture day is coming, or if they'll let you do like a web banner on their website or something, that could be cool. And then I would say the most important thing is 1 to 2 days before picture day, having this, it's just a quick confirmation call. Just saying like, hey, can't wait to come out. I just want to confirm a few things. And then just making sure you know where to park, who your day of contact is, making sure that you have that space available, whether it's the field or the cafeteria, because the worst thing in the world is getting to the field and the coach is like, we're practicing. You can't do that.
Being locked out.
Yeah. Being locked out of a school at 5 o'clock in the morning in the dark alley is scary. Behind the dumpsters, it's scary.
Yep. And then you have like 10 minutes to set up and people are like ready for picture day by the time they let you in.
But it's your fault. It's never anybody else's fault. It'll always be yours.
So make sure there's someone there to let you in. That one call that can prevent half the chaos in the morning right there.
Totally.
But it's not all just communication. You should also be a problem solver. And sometimes with the organizations, they don't think ahead to do logistics or make a team schedule. So you being there and saying like, hey, I think since we have 6 teams, like scheduling it out like this, I think this is going to work well. And just being proactive and being that kind of customer service hero.
Definitely. Yeah. I think, you as a professional, you've been through all those things before, so the questions to ask and the things to be prepared for, and you can set the whole thing up for success by being a problem solver proactively.
Yeah.
And it can even be as simple as needing an electrical plug for your lighting. Like the school wouldn't know that. Like they just think you're showing up to take pictures. Like you can strategically plan out like your locations of where you're taking pictures. Are you going to have power access? Do you need an extra table for check-in purposes? All of those things are kind of things that you need to be successful, but the school doesn't fully know that. And a lot of these things are like picture day related after you have a picture day scheduled. I think along with early communication, I think if you're fully new to an organization, you could even send an introduction message to the organization to have them share to their community. Just introducing who you are, maybe a little bit about your background, your picture day process, your post picture day process for ordering, all of that immediately signing on an organization really helps people understand who you are, where you come from, and then kind of eliminate some of those maybe day of questions in the field.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
And having like a FAQ for parents, I think that's helpful. And you're there to make their lives easier. So the simpler you can make it, the more they're going to like you.
Totally.
And then just check in after delivery, even just a quick email or text, just to make sure everything was smooth on their end.
Okay, so we have in customers. This is essentially just anybody that is buying your photos. That is your main in customer area, but you also want to consider your organizations as your in customer as well. Because once you sign them on as a school or league, they're technically your in customer, but the people actually placing the orders is your main goal of getting that profit and all of those orders placed. Leading with empathy. If customer's unhappy, just listen to them first, thank them for their feedback, offer solutions, really make them feel like you've heard them, you're offering solutions, you're offering to help, to kind of make sure they feel like you're there for them. Even if it comes with a cost, just make it right, just because that will be a customer for life, turn a negative into a positive. They'll also talk to their parents, talk to other parents, their coaches, and spread the word about the positive impact that you did for them, to kind of help you gain more customers or even new customers down the road. Be accessible, making sure that your contact information is easily accessible to your customers. You just want them to know who you are and how to contact you if they have questions. You don't want them going immediately to the organization every time, because you don't want them to have to field all the questions or be the middle person for all of those communications. You kind of want to be the front line of that. Respond quickly. If you kind of wait too long to respond to somebody, they could easily take that to the organization, and that can kind of put in a bad word for you. If you wait too long, they could kind of build up any anger towards you and go to social media. They could go to your Google reviews. They have special parent groups that they could text everybody. There's all kinds of places they could take things, but you really want to keep it in your own inbox so it doesn't escape. Following up is a good tip, whether it's with your actual customers placing orders, just checking in for people that ordered, making sure that they're good to go. If they have issues that you notice, just a general follow-up, make sure they're happy. You can also follow up with your organizations, make sure picture day was smooth on their end. After picture day, if it's still smooth or if they're getting too many questions, maybe think about why the organization's getting so many questions. Maybe you didn't let your customers know your contact information as easily. Maybe you can kind of up that communication. It's just making sure that everyone feels that trust and they feel good about coming to you with feedback, whether it is complaints or just general feedback. You want them to feel like they can come to you. along the lines of following up, I actually have a story about when I first met Stevie at SPAC, my very first SPAC. I met Stevie there. She may not remember it, but
Oh, I definitely do. Because I was just starting out, so.
yes, Stevie actually had a class about customer success, and I was so excited to go there. And because I was coming from a company where I was dealing with so many things. There was just task after task after task, and it was just crazy. And I was so excited to just learn more about customer success because I was kind of new to the office environment. I was new with communicating with customers. So they went through the whole thing. They talked about following up with customers. So that's kind of the piece that stuck with me. And after the class, I targeted Stevie and I was like, I need to figure out how they follow up with people. And I feel like the follow up was kind of just like a side mention. It wasn't even like a big topic you guys did. And I remember you kind of laughed at me, like, really, that's the piece you took from this class? And you were just like, I mean, we just use Google Calendar and set a reminder. And I was like, that is so easy. So that's the piece that stuck with me from my first SPAC. And I took that back to my company and immediately started implementing it. I was setting reminders when a customer reached out for a refund or a reprint. A week later, I'd set a reminder and just follow up, make sure they got the reprint, make sure they got the refund, whatever it was, just follow up. And I was always responded with positivity, and they were like excited that I followed up and was following along with the issue. So it just made me feel good to get those positive messages back from them because they felt like I was paying attention.
Totally.
And then that eventually led up to me just scheduling, like immediately when I resolved an issue, I just scheduled a message to go out to check in on them so that I didn't actually have to come back a week later. It just automatically sent. So I got a little strategic with it, but that was the piece that has always stuck with me, and I loved it.
That is amazing. Yeah, I mean, like you can really I think that you can make a customer's whole day by checking back in. I mean, it's refunds or whatever, you know, if a package goes missing, like isn't always a fun thing. Like, so feeling like your issue like really mattered, like is huge.
Yeah.
Also, I just, can we go back really quick?
Yeah, sorry. I'm click happy.
I just want to touch on the leading with empathy. I think that's super important. A lot of times if somebody tells us something about our product that is negative, say they don't like something, our instant reaction is kind of to get defensive. And I think coming at it calmly, having a better trying to understand like where they're coming from, it makes a big impact instead of just
totally. Yeah. I mean, it can turn a frustration into like a friendly conversation. So yeah. All right.
So we have a quote from Rose Coleman. It was actually a quote we pulled from one of the webinars she did with Karina Boatwright. If you ever have time to kind of watch that webinar, there's a ton of great feedback. There's great tips in there just for business practices. But Rose says, brand loyalty is built by always doing what we say we'll do, getting images out quickly, having good customer service, and supporting people if there are issues. If you take too long to respond, one unhappy parent can spread a lot of negativity. So I think that's really important to kind of remember as you're dealing with customers throughout the process.
Absolutely. Yeah, it all builds trust. Okay, so obviously great images are super, super important when selling online, but creating a memorable customer experience is what's really going to drive excitement. View the images when they're ready. It's going to get your customers engaged and, waiting to place their orders. And it's also going to build excitement for future picture days if they have a great experience. So you can start getting the anticipation built up by sending out marketing flyers. You could also post on social media if you are able to. If you have a social media account that people follow, you could use yours, or you could also ask the org if you're able to post on theirs. That way you're getting people opted in and ready to go. That way they're not looking for their photos. If you guys have any past images, if you've done the organization in the past, or if you've done the sport. You could include relevant images on the social media posts or on the marketing flyers so that people can get excited about what their pictures are going to look like. Now, hype videos, that's a pro tip. If you guys have not watched Jay Boatwright's webinar, which I think we're going to post in the chat comments, I recommend doing that because there's an example of a hype video on there. But you can actually make a video of yourself. You're the photographer, you're the face of your business, explaining what parents can expect. So I think in this day and age, especially with the majority of volume customers being busy parents, people are digesting most of information from videos. If you're sending a bunch of emails and stuff like that and they're getting papers home or whatever, that can be kind of hard to focus on if you're busy and going through the day-to-day. If someone receives a video, which people are very used to watching, and they could take 2 minutes out of their day to watch a video of you explaining what their athlete or student needs to have to be ready for picture day, and how to opt in, and what offers you're going to be giving. I think that's a really good way to get the information out. I also think it does something else important, which is just puts a face to your business. That way, when they see you at the shoot, they're going to immediately recognize you, and that'll be something that they remember time after time. So check out that webinar if you have not already. I know it can be nerve-wracking to make videos of yourself sometimes. You can also, go ahead, Austin.
I was just going to say, I felt all the introverts be like, nope, not me.
Yeah, Austin knows, he knows.
I mean, it's baby steps. It takes a little bit to get comfortable. So, I mean, even if you just did like one without your face and just did like text and maybe some pictures of like the team that you've done in the past, anything is better than nothing.
Right. And videos are what people watch. Like, even
Yes.
if they're just slides, people are scrolling through videos all day. So yeah.
Right.
Also offering amazing images, obviously, that's something that we go over and over again in all these webinars, but you want to make sure that you are offering images that your customers cannot live without. You want to stay current, be sure that you're in touch with what's current, trends wise and technology wise. Again, people are on social media all the time and they see a ton of cutting edge images. So you want to stay somewhat in line with that, of course, in a realistic way for volume photography, but you definitely don't want to fall behind. And it's also just about making the picture day a smooth and fun experience in general, which we're going to touch on in a bit. But, if it's something different, if it's a lot more than just standing in front of the camera, click, if it makes a lasting impression and the images are really great, that's going to be the thing that sticks in people's mind and they're going to look forward to moving forward. Just providing multiple image options is important. Of course, your images are your inventory online, so people are no longer buying, 8x10s and a mug before they see the images. They are going on and seeing the images that you offer first. So number one, if you give multiple options, of course, you as the photographer might see a photo that has the best posing in it, or, has the stereotypical smile, but, the parents are going to know what look actually makes their kid look the most like themselves, so giving them the ability to choose is a huge part of the experience. And it'll also encourage higher orders too, which is great. Now, attention to detail is also really important. You want to be sure that the images you're posting are ready to go to the lab, ready to print. Your images are your inventory, so you want what the customer sees when they enter the online gallery to be, in its best state. So whether there's like, a light stand in the corner, that you didn't crop out, or, whatever it is, you want to pay attention to those little details, and you want to make sure you're not overlooking things that parents are going to notice right when they hop in that might push them away from placing their order. So that can go a long way. And then also just having a frictionless ordering process is important. PhotoDay definitely does a great job at that. But, an ordering process that is easy for parents, that's not hard to understand or hard to get through, Also a platform that has very available customer service. You don't want to leave your customer waiting on the line while you wait for the software company to reply to you just so they can get their order placed. That, all those things could lead to them not completing their order. So that's a huge deal. And then also just a customer cart that encourages larger orders and allows your customers to customize and mix and match. So yeah.
Yeah. And along like the video line, whenever I worked at a studio, we actually hosted a big training day. So it was training for our new photographers for the upcoming season. But we actually hired models to go through the picture day process, and we filmed it so that we could use that later for training purposes. But then we also clipped it so that we could use that as steps of the process to share with parents so they understood how picture day worked and like what the flow would be like for senior pictures at each station that we were doing. So double duty with training day, but also for your parents. It was a great way to kind of use videos.
Yeah. And I think to Austin's point too, like, talking about not necessarily videoing yourself, like even if you took a quick clip of, some of your shoots and just what it looks like, or a kid behind the camera, like a behind the scenes shot, things like that could be used to create videos as well.
For sure. All right, I want to talk about fun. So question for you guys again, what do you do to make picture day fun? How are you keeping the mood light during picture day? So answer that in the comments.
Sweet, we'll bring up some answers in a bit once you start coming in.
I think one of the most important qualities you need, especially when working with kids, is just a sense of play. If you walk into picture day annoyed and irritated, that's going to play into your day. They're going to know. Other people's going to feel it. And so it's important to keep that mood light. Play music, hype them up, have fun with posing, bring props. A lot of people, if they're doing sports, they'll bring like chains or fog machines or money guns. So just have fun with it. Dad jokes, said Brad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally.
For sure. And then after you take great photos, being able to show them the back of the camera, or if you have a monitor hooked up, that instantly hypes them up. And it says here, make it feel like a moment, not a chore. I feel like for photographers, we do this every day. It's nothing new for us, nothing special. And it can sometimes feel like clicking a button after a while. But for that kid, that might be their only professional photo they ever get, or they've ever had, or they might be having a tough day, or maybe some self-esteem stuff going on. And
totally,
you're showing them this awesome picture of them, telling them that they look like a rock star and like getting them excited. They're going to go home. They're going to tell that to their parent. And then now the parent's excited to see the photos too.
Right. Yeah, I mean, kids can get really nervous by picture day, so I feel like it's huge to make them feel comfortable. We got a bunch of comments. Tracy said they let them do personality pictures, and then John tells dad jokes. Totally. I think the personality pictures are a good way to like get them to loosen up. Of course, like you get started, and then you're like, strike a pose, and then everybody laughs. Like after that, they're going to be doing a lot more of their true smile, things of that nature.
Then it becomes a contest of who can have the silliest pose between their classmates.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, guess what I did at the camera?
Yeah, right. It's like deep down, they all want to do something silly. So just let them. Yeah. Tara has a playlist going. And then if it's elementary school, she does funny puppets, or just makes a fool of herself, which is funny. I mean, like, that makes a lot of sense to me. Like, show them that you're just human too. That can make the situation way more comfortable.
When I was at the studio, I'd be putting bears on my head, having them blow off, or
yeah, I know Austin likes the funny puppets idea.
And if you are playing music, though, make sure it's age appropriate. There's too many times where I had to run to the skip button.
Yeah, these days. Yeah, right. Okay.
We have another quote from a webinar, this time from Jason Marino. This kind of goes along the lines of just making picture day fun in general. He says that we hire for personality and attention to detail, not camera skills. We can teach photography, but you can't teach passion or friendliness. And I think that is super true. I know in these days, I know a lot of photographer businesses are struggling to hire photographers. A lot of times you're looking for people only with photography skills. But sometimes it's good to think about the other direction. So if you are trying to have fun at your picture days, you want all of this attention to detail and all that stuff, maybe hire for that, because it's much easier to actually teach someone how to take a picture. Because for your business, you already have the workflow laid out, you have your standards, you have the equipment, you have everything there to teach somebody that. It's much harder to actually teach somebody to be nice or be fun or stuff like that around kids.
It's also harder if you have a flow, if you have a way that you do things, it's also harder to teach them to unlearn what they know, to do it your way. And I found,
especially in volume.
Yeah. When I was working at the studio and hiring team members, I would look for the preschool teacher, the coach, the camp counselor. Like, I can teach you how to photograph. I can't teach you how to be personable.
Definitely. Yeah. And if you don't like kids, then volume might not be it for you. So, totally.
I don't know that I would want to get into only adult staff pictures either. They're also difficult, like children.
Yeah, right? It might be harder to get a smile.
Right. Just maybe volume photography is not for you.
Yeah, right. Okay, another question. So what special things do you guys do for your organizations that are out of the norm, that they do not expect to make their day? Answer that. I'll come back to the answers. But overall, you want to make your organization's lives easier. And there are a couple of things you could do to keep them coming back. So first things first, over communicating. This is another thing I say a lot. Be thorough in the communication you send out, and send communications in multiple ways so that people don't miss it. Your customers have busy lives, and this is going to help the information reach them. If they miss one way, they can see another. So for instance, if you get email addresses, send emails out to each customer. Have the league send something out, or the organization, the school. Post on social and have posters on site. You don't have to just choose one of those options. You could use any that, or all of that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because if I missed an email and I'm dropping my kid off at school, I'll see that poster most likely, or whatever. But this is going to help the organization. This is going to prevent them from having to answer parent questions. I think that's the main thing with most of these, is that the more you can do to prevent parents from going back to the organization, the happier they are going to be, obviously. So handling parent questions. Go ahead, Justin.
Oh, I was just going to say that you don't want to make your organization be the middleman for everything.
Right.
It delays communication, but also could risk them communicating something wrong, but it also just is annoying for them to have to do that.
Right. They may not know, or they may tell somebody no to something that you might have helped them with to go the extra mile. So true that. But yeah, this just goes back to having your contact information readily available. In the PhotoDay galleries, it is available behind a little question mark icon. So very easy to find, but just make sure that you are open and available to answer questions. I think this is especially important from a timing perspective, like, starting with when you send out the pre-picture day communications and, when you release the photos as well. You don't want to publish a gallery and then, head out to the yard and do yard work for 5 hours with no phone or computer. You want to release the galleries at a time that you can really sit down and be at your email or be at your phone and quickly help a customer that needs it. You want to prevent them going back to the organization and being like, hey, they won't answer. You also want to prevent, the loss of a sale, because the longer people go without an answer, which it might just be a very, very simple question, they might get frustrated. They might not complete their order. So yeah, preventing them from asking the organization is a great way for them to probably ask for you back, honestly. So, another thing that's going to create parent questions is delivering images on time. So, as far as getting the images published in a timely manner, once you photograph, you don't want to make people wait a month before you're releasing the pictures for them to order. You build up that excitement on picture day. People are really excited to see the pictures. You know, you want to keep that engagement there by the time you release images. And if you take forever, they're going to go to the organization and ask, hey, when can we expect pictures? So you can prevent that by being ready to get those images culled and edited and sent out to everybody. Same with, you know, bulk shipments. If you're choosing to use bulk shipping, just make sure that you're either getting it delivered to the organization in a timely manner, or if you get it delivered to you, that you bring it, you know, as soon as possible. I think this is important too, especially with a lot of volume work. It's like, you know, it's seasons or semesters, like it's time sensitive. So, you know, if the season is over in May, you photographed in April, and then you don't release until, you know, the beginning of May, you know, people aren't going to be coming to the last practice or whatever. They might not even be able to get their order from a bulk shipment, or, you know, they might have wanted to order photos while their kid was still playing baseball or was still in the spring of third grade or whatever. You want to, it's not only going to help with your sales to get the images out quickly, but it's also going to prevent parents from, you know, looking around, asking the organization, stuff like that.
Also on hand delivering the bulk orders. I just think that's valuable because that's FaceTime in front of your organization, and you're able to check in right there. You're able to see, like, did everything come out okay? And then
totally,
since you're there, go ahead and pull out your calendar and get it on your books for next year.
Exactly. I think that's what Tina said earlier. She gets them on their calendar as soon as the current shoot ends, which is a great practice too, to keep them coming back. And yeah, I think that face-to-face time is really important, you know, when you're delivering bulk orders, or also if you want to, you know, show your gratitude and bring them, you know, something that will show them that you appreciate them. The slide says bring coffee and snacks. But, you know, regardless, just getting yourself in front of them instead of just communicating only by email, you know, putting a face to your business and getting to know the organization and making friends with them, building that relationship is you're gonna be remembered, you know. And if you do a great job, then that's it. You're 100% in there next season for sure. And then the last thing, asking what you could do better next time. You know, I think just building that trust. And sorry guys, it started pouring, so I really hope you can't hear it. But building that trust with the organization, and, you know, leaving an open forum for them to tell you, like, hey, you know, the shoot was kind of a mess. Like, as you know, the line was in the middle of where all the practices are or whatever. Like, you know, allow them the space to tell you those things so you can make things better, and ask if there's anything you can do better. So.
Yeah, and with the coffee and snacks, so I knew somebody that had a spreadsheet specifically for keeping track of, like, secretaries' coffee orders, so they could just surprise them.
That's awesome.
They'd be my favorite for sure. I would be running to schedule them. So Tracy says she makes slideshows for her dance studios shoots and shares them on social. That sounds really, really special. Probably also gets people excited to, you know, to stay tuned and look for that every time. So super sweet.
Yeah. So everything we talked about, it really comes down to one thing, and that's building relationships. We have one more quote, but I had to put this one in here. I just love how Amy puts it. She just says, building these connections is like the most important thing. Assuming that you know how to operate a camera, you know how to take beautiful pictures. That's not always the most important thing that a school or preschool, sorry, I messed up. That's not always the most important thing to a school or a preschool. And I think that's a big mindset shift, just because your technical skill, that's what's expected. That's your ticket in the door. But what keeps you coming year over year is that trust and reliability and the ease that you bring to your clients.
Yeah. If you guys have not watched.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, they just put it in the chat. So if you haven't watched Amy's webinar, she's like the queen of the customer experience. So yeah, that's a good one.
So just a little recap, some tips for you. Sometimes the smallest gestures go the furthest. A handwritten note, remembering a kid's name, quick check-in. That's what makes you memorable. And don't underestimate the power of setting clear expectations up front. So that's for parents, for schools, for leagues. Clarity, that prevents chaos.
Yeah. Learning from complaints. If you get a complaint or get feedback, take that as a chance to improve and grow. I know a lot of times we might take it super personable, but just take a second to think about like why that complaint came up or why that piece of feedback is there. Is there anything you can do to improve it for next time? Is there anything you can do to handle it immediately? Just really thinking about that and kind of how to improve things later on so that hopefully you don't continue to get the same complaints or pieces of feedback later on. Being proactive, so don't wait for the complaints. So doing those general check-ins with maybe if it's in customers, you could export the emails of orders, thanking people for their orders, making sure they received them, making sure they're good to go. Just kind of a general check-in is good. Don't fully wait for a complaint, or maybe somebody received a damaged order and they don't feel comfortable reaching out to you to tell you. So they're sitting there with a damaged order and they aren't going to say anything, but maybe they will feel better about you reaching out to check in. And then they're like, oh, actually, I did have something wrong. This could also go along with your organizations, just checking in with them before they actually reach out to you with a complaint or piece of feedback for picture day. A tool to actually help with that is the NPS scores that are right inside of your dashboard. Looking at those is sometimes hard to kind of take in. I guarantee everybody will have a majority of the answers saying that their prices are too high. Ignore those. Don't take it personal. Your prices are fine. If they're not complaining about pricing, then you're too cheap. So
Literally.
don't take those personal. Kind of look at the more positive ones. Look at the ones that you can actually fix. Look at the ones that you could turn a negative into a positive easily without making your prices cheaper. You could charge $1 and people will still complain. So really don't pay attention to those. Whenever I'm looking at NPS scores, I like to actually filter the spreadsheet by tens down to the zeros. So I don't really see the negative ones immediately, and they all kind of filter themselves out to the bottom, and I kind of ignore them.
And also with the NPS score, just so we're aware, it goes from a negative 100 to a positive 100. So if your score is anything from 0 to positive 100, you're doing good. You're doing good. So don't freak out if you see like a 40, 50. You're doing good.
That's a great one. That's a great score. Yeah. And then also nobody else can see them but you. So, I know it's hard for a lot of people, but you can really pick out those things that you need to grow upon. And we also ask customers if they're okay with being reached out to. So you can always reach out to the customer, that left you negative feedback or positive and thank them if they allow. So
I actually was on a call recently with a user, and they specifically said we should have a group called NPS support group, and everybody just has a glass of wine and talks about their NPS scores, gets frustration out. She's actually in this webinar right now. I think we gave it a title of Whiny Wednesdays, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
There's some people that turn them off, but honestly, like I would rather it go to my NPS score than them post it on like my Google reviews or something.
Yeah, and some people just don't think to like go find your email and reach out to you if, say their order is damaged, and then they get that text. So they're like, oh yeah, like, it's not always like as negative of a thing as it looks on the NPS thing itself. And then, oh yeah, that would be amazing. It's hard, but it could be a really good tool for sure. Okay, so as far as PhotoDay, we have a ton of workflow and marketing features available, and they're all tools that is going to make the experience smooth for you guys, the photographers, for your customers, and also for the organizations. So, we make it easy for parents to get to the photos. We give you guys tools, both with capture for private galleries and also face find and tags for group and public, that make it easy to just photograph, just focus on that. and then, parents can easily find their photos. We have advance pay so that you can get people committed to purchasing. And we also have SMS marketing, which is a really great way to directly remind your customers to place their orders. And then we have the bubble as well. Just having a support chat that is available to help you in a timely manner, like I said, is really important. You don't want to be left waiting, and that means your customer might be waiting as well. And then we also have the PhotoDay users group. So if you guys aren't a member of the users group already, we have a great community of other users. And if you ever have questions, especially that our support chat can't quite answer, that are more just what would you guys do? That's a great place to go and post and get collaboration from other users. As far as parents, we have mobile-friendly galleries. According to our data, most people are ordering on a mobile device. So that being said, our cart is designed to be mobile-friendly. They're also able to see the images before they buy, so they can customize their order the way they want. And we have orders trackable to the doorstep, which is what people are used to when ordering online. So I think that's really, really important. And then for organizations, it can't be 1000% hands off with them, but the goal is to make it as easy as possible. So there's no order forms for them to get out. You can give private galleries if that's a need. And there's also ship from home or ship to home ordering. So, they don't have to, after all is said and done, after they've helped you, communicate with parents and get the picture day done, then they have to go back and pass out orders. That's, for the most part, not a thing anymore if you use ship to home ordering. So.
Okay, so to kind of wrap up everything that we've kind of talked about, unforgettable experiences is an unforgettable business. So it's not always just about those transactions from the orders. Going above and beyond, giving that service really helps your business earn priceless word of mouth. You'll get your loyalty from your customers and organizations. You'll gain new customers. So whenever you deliver an experience people can't help but talk about, then your reputation does the marketing for you. So it's definitely good to keep in mind and implement a lot of these tips that we've provided here.
Totally.
Then we had
Okay.
Q&A, but it doesn't look like we have any.
Well, you guys were awesome sharing the answers to the questions we asked today. And I think, I learn a lot working from users, and I'm able to pass some of those helpful tips along to other people I work with. So thank you guys for being great. The best group of users ever. Thank y'all so much, and sharing the magic. Oh, look, we have a comment in Q&A.
Wait, I still have mine next to me that I practiced with earlier.
We talked about that, and I was like, just spread the love. Yeah, me and Austin matched today. So when I first met you, Austin, we were wearing a different pair of glasses that were the same. Yeah, and I was like, hey, this is perfect. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. It was a good one, talking about my favorite thing ever. And make sure you guys reach out to us in the support bubble if you need anything at all. And tune into our next webinar when we have one. So, yeah.
Thank you, guys. See you later.
Bye.